Hello and welcome to the War on Error with me, Graham Hughes. It is Thursday the 24th of November 2022. Hello to everyone out there. Who have we got? We've got David, hey. We've got Liam North, we've got Tim, we've got number 3. We've got QA Library and Graham Haller is there as well. Hello, Graham. So, welcome. Today, 5 years ago today, I came to Durham to give a talk about Brexit and travel. So I gave one talk about travel and one talk about Brexit at the Durham Student Union building. And I reconnected with an old school friend of mine, Catherine. And so today's the 5th anniversary of me coming to Durham for the first time in my life. I think I had to look it up where it was. But that's why I've got to finish off the champagne that we opened a little bit earlier. So if you see me drinking champagne instead of my usual cup of tea, which I do have a cup of tea, that's why. So it's our 5-year anniversary today, kind of. Not that I'm married, but you know what I mean. Anyway, so there you go. So today we're going to be talking about Qatar 2022 and FIFA. What I want to do to start is I want to read you something that I wrote a while ago about Qatar being awarded the World Cup. Okay, so this is from my blog. This is from my Odyssey exhibition blog that I wrote as I travelled to every country in the world without flying. And this is what I wrote. I was up the next day at 7. I'll sleep when I'm dead. I'm busy getting all my remaining stuff together. I planned to get to the bus station early, but in the event, Neil and I went out for brunch. I didn't end up leaving until 2 p.m. The journey time to Surabaya, the port town on Java Island, where I'll hopefully be getting the ferry to West Papua tomorrow, was 12 hours. And as I didn't fancy turning up at 2 in the morning, I killed a few hours in an internet cafe catching up on the latest nonsense from the rest of the world. On this very topic, I have something to say. England not getting the World Cup was gutting, fair enough, but the BBC was right to expose the corruption that goes on in FIFA. I don't know if you remember this, but at the time, there was whisperings that the fact that England didn't get the World Cup in 2018 or 2020 was due to the fact that the BBC had ran an expose on FIFA's corruption, and so that we didn't get the tournaments because of the BBC. That's what some people said. But I was saying, look, it's fair enough that the BBC ran that because FIFA is the most corrupt organization in the world, and that's saying something. Okay, so back to what I wrote. So the BBC was right to expose the corruption that goes on in FIFA, but my outrage is focused on the fact that Qatar, capital letters, is going to be hosting the games in 2022. What the hell? Warning, rant approaching. I haven't changed much over the years. Let me make this quite clear. Qatar is a boring little shithole in the middle of a scorching hot desert. It's a nasty Wahhabist dictatorship where the guy in charge got there much in the manner of kind hearts and coronets by killing all his rivals. And it's all well and good for Bahrain to host the Formula 1 GP, as the people who want to watch these races are generally well-to-do and probably own a yacht. But footy is a game that's supposed, italics, to be the game of the working class, i.e. accessible to all. Qatar is one of the most expensive countries in the world. And yeah, good luck with your Russian visas for 2018. Don't forget to check in with the KGB every time you burp, fart, or whistle, unless you want to be deported. But free and fair democracies aren't good for bribery and corruption. And so I guess it's fair enough that the 2018 and 2022 World Cup tournaments will be held in ruthlessly oppressive, backwards-looking, oil-rich oligarchies. The adverts for Qatar 2022 appeared on every single ad break during the World Cup. I was in the Middle East at the time, and they grew ever more tedious by the second. I must have seen the same frickin' ad over 100 times. And one thing that struck me was the lack of women being represented. There were little girls running around looking happy at the lifetime of meekness and servitude that awaits them. But the only women you see have their backs to the camera and have black sheets draped over their entire bodies, lest they pique my uncontrollable lust. This is understandable, since women don't really like football, do they? Best they just dress in black and stay at home. Oh, and don't give me the faint praise of Qatar being a more progressive state than others in the area. The relationship between parasitic wasps and the caterpillars in which they lay their eggs is more progressive than Saudi Arabia. So it's not saying much. Capital letters. But that's not what really sticks in my craw. What's making steam shoot out of my ears is the reckless, wanton and Machiavellian disregard for the global environment. Yep, as per usual, it's up yours, pale blue dot. We have money to make. The tournament will be held at the height of summer in a country where the thermometer often tops 50 degrees and humidity stands at 90% on a good day. And so, what are they going to do to prevent the players and fans keeling over from heat exhaustion? They're going to install air conditioning. In a 100,000-seater stadium. Stadiums in the desert. This is Turkmenbashi levels of insanity. Yes, he wanted to build an ice palace in the desert in Turkmenistan, but at least he only wanted one of them, not 8. It's good that we've got this climate change thing nipped in the bud, eh? There's lots of capitals in this. Isn't that right, England? I believe you are currently toiling under the coldest start to December since the Ice Age. Well, I'm sure it's a cyclical thing, and that all companies will be vindicated against what those mean, nasty scientists have been politely saying since the 60s. Next, they'll be telling us that smoking leads to cancer. Ha! Imagine that, Christopher Hitchens. What do you have to say on the matter, Bill Hicks? Madness, I know, Patrick Swayze. So, thanks to FIFA, the amount of fossil fuel burnt over the 4 weeks of the tournament just to keep the stadiums cool will be more than the entire carbon output of the 54 countries of Africa for 1 year put together. A micro-state of less than 1 million inhabitants producing pollutants in a month, more pollutants in a month than 1 billion spread out across an entire continent can muster in 12. Oh, and one last thing. Unless you're ludicrously rich, there will be no booze for you. More capitals. Ha! Good luck with that, FIFA, you stupid, miserable, contemptible, and easily bribed morons. Phew. Had to get that off my chest. The 2nd of December, 2010. I'll say that again. The 2nd of December, 2010. Well, fuck me sideways and call me Cassandra, because exactly what I fucking went off on about on my blog 12 years ago, all of it came true, except they're not holding it in the summer. They're disrupting everyone's football schedule for the year by holding it in the middle of winter instead, which is just whatever. Even so, it's still regularly more than 40 degrees in the desert. Oh my God. And I didn't even get to talk about, because obviously this was 12 years ago, I had no idea of the levels of depravity, the Nazi extermination camp style depravity that FIFA would essentially give the green light to Qatar to carry out. 6,500 human beings. That's over 650 Hillsborough disasters. Dead in the desert that we know about because brave investigative journalists found out. Qatar didn't want to volunteer why these workers died, but 6,500 of them did, that we know of. That we know of. That translates over 64 matches, which run about 100 minutes each, to one dead person for every minute of football in this tournament. Imagine you had a game, and the game was you dragged a shoeless Indian from Kerala out onto the pitch, and you shot him dead in front of 100,000 baying fans. Every minute for 100 minutes. Would you be able to keep your food down? Would you just keep watching? Would you walk out? Would you stop giving them money? Would you stop giving the fucking sponsors money? Oh, I think you might. People are like, oh, but what can we do? What can we do? What can we do? I'll tell you what you can do. First of all, don't watch the fucking World Cup. Do not watch the fucking Qatar fucking World Cup. The second thing you can do is boycott anyone who advertised at this fucking World Cup in which 6,500 people died in order for it to happen. And the third thing you can do is definitely don't say something as stupid as some dickhead said to me on fucking Facebook today. It's like, but how many people died building the pyramids, Graham? Are you on crack? Sorry, have you not had your medication? What's going on here? You got too much medication or too little? I don't know what's going on with your fucking brain. But the idea that we could have any fucking impact on some monuments that were built maybe by slaves, I don't know, fucking 4,000 years ago. You think we're holy mother of fucking God. So let's not watch it. But let's just talk tonight, since this is the war on error. Let's just talk about FIFA a little bit. Because FIFA has been the most corrupt piece of shit football governing body for years. This is nothing new. In the 1930s, they organised the World Cup in fascist Italy. In 1978, they organised the World Cup in fascist Argentina, which at the time was being ruled by a military junta. Or junta, I guess, if you're in South America. Then they gave the World Cup to, in succession, Russia, fucking Russia, and then Qatar. 6,500 people dead in Qatar. Nearly all of them died, probably of heat stroke. Because while the football stadiums, as I predicted 12 years ago, are air conditioned so the players don't get too hot, the workers who built the stadiums in the fucking desert didn't have that pleasure. So basically, a lot of them died. And also, they lived as slaves. And this is another issue that FIFA don't seem to give a fuck about, but we should. I mean, look, every football match that you watch anywhere in the world is at a professional level, I guess, is affiliated with FIFA through its, subdivisions, UEFA and stuff. But it's still part of FIFA. The thieves of FIFA. I mean, what they've done in this World Cup. Killing 6,500 slaves who were worked to death in the desert. These people are like indentured labourers. They were made to pay up to $3,000 just to come and work in Qatar. That's a lot of money for me. That's a lot of money for you watching this. I know it is. Imagine how much it is if you're a fucking farmer in Nepal. Or in Egypt, for Christ's sake. And I've been there. I've been to Qatar. I know how they treat people who aren't Qatari and aren't white. It's like fucking shit. So you pay your money, which you then owe because you don't have that money. So you've got to work off that debt. And these workers working on these stadiums were being paid an average of 43 cents a day. A day. And they were put in this horrible little village, town, fucking area, slum. Let's say slum. They were put in a slum that Western journalists are not allowed to go and visit because they're so fucking disgusting. There's no showers. There's one toilet between many, many inmates in these fucking slums. You know, Qatar spent $220 billion on this fucking World Cup. Nearly $250 billion. And they didn't pay the workers properly. They didn't pay their fucking workers. Everything about this World Cup is fucking disgusting. The stuff that we're getting upset about, you know, the fact that they're not selling alcohol, which I predicted very accurately. I did say, let's read this again. Unless you are ludicrously rich, there will be no booze for you. Newsflash, dickheads. If you go to the stadium and you've got loads of money, you can have alcohol. If you haven't, you don't get fuck all. And the people who have gone, who are paying £185 a night to sleep in a fucking tent with a fan in the desert? Are you fucking kidding me? A tent with 2 single beds in the tent, because, you know, men and women aren't allowed to sleep together. And men are definitely not allowed to sleep together because it's against the law. And you could end up in jail if you do. They're not allowing the players to wear armbands, One Love armbands. And FIFA are just like, yeah, whatever. We don't care. Sorry, I'm too busy literally swimming in all this blood money. And they're making billions out of it. This is a fucking disgrace. We need to get out. It's like fucking sound like Liz Truss now, don't I? That is a disgrace. I'm not talking about people selling cheese, okay? I'm talking about corporations murdering people. If this was Coca-Cola murdering people, if this was Gap clothing murdering people on this kind of scale, you would boycott Gap clothing. I know you would. You would boycott Coca-Cola. I know you would. There are people who've boycotted Coca-Cola because of some deaths that happened in Colombia. And you know what? Fair enough. Coca-Cola is quite responsible for the deaths of what they said were the, contractors. They weren't working directly for us. They were just contractors. So we didn't have to... Yeah, all right, Coca-Cola. You're only like the biggest company in the world. But, you know, don't pay people the right amount of money for the work they do. So this is just off the charts now. The amount of corruption that got us to this point. So one of the things in FIFA is that there was only 20 or 24 or so people who could vote on who got the next World Cup at the time. It's changed now. But the situation was you could literally give money to one of these representatives of the confederations of FIFA. You could give them money. You could literally wire $1 million into their bank for their vote. So, you know, that little fucker, that little runt who used to run France, what's his name? Sarkozy, that rat-faced cunt, yeah? So he had the representative of, one of the UEFA representatives who got to vote on this. He was an ex-footballer, ex-French footballer. And he brought him to the fucking Elysee Palace, along with this fucker from Qatar. And this guy was going to vote for the USA to get the World Cup in 2022. And he changed his vote. He changed his fucking vote. Why? Because the president of France told him to. And in return, the Qataris put loads of money into Paris Saint-Germain. Was it PSG? Yeah, PSG. And who were doing really shit at the time. Now they're doing boss. Money makes the world go round, my friends. Money, money, money. But I am not giving a fucking dirty cent to this club, FIFA, and all of its fucking subsidiaries. The British leagues, the FA, the Bundesliga, the La Liga, all of the big leagues in Europe shall find their fucking morals, find some fucking balls. It's not enough to put your fucking hand over your fucking mouth when they're playing the national anthem or whatever. No. I want to see them pull out of UEFA. That's it. We fucking pull out. Make your own fucking Super League. Call it what you like. Get the fuck out of UEFA. Get the fuck out of FIFA. It's got to be done. It's got to be done because this corruption is just going to continue. Who's in the bidding for 2030? Who's in the bidding? Fucking Saudi Arabia. Saudi fucking Arabia. Where they still kill, maim, torture people for looking at you funny. They don't let women drive or vote. Or if a woman is raped, her testimony is only worth half that of a man's. What a wonderful fucking place. What a great place to have the beautiful game, eh? Hey? Fucking hell. So, yeah, this is my war on error, and I get, to go off on one now and again. And one of those privately educated twats that dominate LBC, his name's Andrew Castle, but he says Andrew Castle because he's a tough little cunt. He was on the radio today, or at least I had a clip of him on the radio today saying, well, if you weren't complaining about it 12 years ago, you shouldn't be complaining about it now. Well, fucker, hey, dickhead, I was complaining about it 12 years ago. And, although I know that people can change their blogs after the event, as Dominic Cummings famously did, I think you'll find this was actually emailed to everyone who followed my journey around the world, to every country, back in December 2011. So, 2010. Jesus Christ, that was a long time ago. So it's not like people didn't see this coming. I was on my way to Papua New Guinea when I wrote that. Okay? I was on my way to fucking Papua New Guinea on a boat, on a Pelni ferry through Indonesia. Stopping at Sulawesi on the way. I mean, fucking hell. If I knew it, then the people in charge, the people running the show, the people who play football for these fucking abominations fucking knew it. The people at Coca-Cola and Budweiser and whoever else is sponsoring this fucking bloodfest, they knew it as well, and they still know it today. So if you do boycott anyone which I really would encourage you to do, there are alternatives available, write to them and tell them why you have boycotted their product. Because they have spent billions putting their name to this thing. And if it results in their market share decreasing, they will shit their pants and run away from this as far as they can fucking go. Quite rightly. I mean, it's something they should have done fucking years ago. Not having anything to do with this. When reports started coming out about slaves building stadiums in the desert and dying of heat stroke, it should have been over. That should have been it. What kind of world do you want for your children? What kind of moral lessons do you want them to learn? The kind of Boris Johnson moral lessons that it's just okay to fucking lie all the time? The FIFA lessons that show you that you're best off cheating. Just be corrupt as fuck. Just take money and just be bribed. Allow yourself to be bribed and not give a fuck and not face any fucking jail sentences. The whole of FIFA should be in jail for the rest of their lives. This is systematic slaughter. This isn't like just, an unfortunate industrial accident. This is the systemic taking of people from another country to a desert in another country and working them to death for a fucking footy match. A footy match. Can we get some sense of perspective here? I know that Bill Shankly famously said, football's much more important than that. No, it's not, Bill. It's really not, It can be a bit of fun, but if 6,500 people died making a Hollywood movie, I don't think many people will want to see the fucking movie that comes out the other end, would they? No, but I really like the director. I love the director. Oh, but I really like the actor because he's in the film. I don't give a fuck. Too many people died for your entertainment, okay? So sack it off. Just fuck it off. It's not important. We've got bigger fish to fry right now in the world than watching this fucking abomination of a World Cup. Sorry I'm getting so fucking upset about this, but it is particularly painful for me that I was there in the Middle East when this bid was going ahead. They were putting these adverts out, and I remember thinking at the time, what the fuck, Qatar? Qatar, it's got one city. It's got a population of what, 330,000 actual fucking Qataris, and everyone else is a migrant. It's someone who's come from abroad. I mean, the white ones call themselves expats, but they're all fucking migrants. And they do all the work that the Qataris don't want to do. The Qataris get free healthcare, they get free education, they get about £10,000 a month off the government. I don't know if that's gone up in the last few years, probably has. Because they've got gas. You know, same with Russia. Fucking gas giant. Everyone's reliant on them. Everyone's going to go, yes, sir, you're very good. Like Anthony in that episode of the Twilight Zone with the little boy played by Bill Mummy, everyone had to be nice to. They all had to be nice to Anthony, because if they weren't nice to him, he would make bad things happen. And that's where we are. And we need a bit of people power now. We need a bit of people power, but there's just not enough of us saying this is fucking wrong. And I am disappointed in Gary Lineker. I am disappointed in Gary Neville. These people should be saying, fuck off. I don't want anything to do with this. 6,500 people died. Every time they mention it, bring it up. Why aren't you commenting on the World Cup this year? Because 6,500 people died, and I don't think that's right. And they should be bringing this up all the fucking time. As often as possible. They should be saying it in the middle of fucking matches. They should have a little gong that goes off once a minute during the match with a little death tally of how many people had to die so that match could go ahead. If in case you're wondering, it's 100. It's 100 people every fucking match died building those stadiums in the fucking desert. So yeah. Sorry if I'm going off on one. Finished ranting yet? Just your chance, you just want to rant at us. I just want to rant at you, Liam. I just want to rant. I don't want to work down the coal mine. I just want to rant. Right, okay, I'll jump into the chat. No one's dropped a super chat in, so, I mean, you know, I'm here in my coat, freezing to death, having a bit of a rant when I could be celebrating my anniversary with Catherine, but whatever. But yeah. I made it on time. Many happy returns, says number 3. Thank you very much. Nigel Farage is threatening to come back. A Swiss model is accepted in the UK. Ugh. Hate Farage. Was he helped into power by the CIA and the SAS? I don't know. I've been to Poland 3 times, total of about a month in 3 weeks, of which I was in Krakow, so about 20 black people total. That's Liam. Okay. I don't know what's going to do with anything. One of the things that I've got a lot of kickback about this, when I've mentioned how fucking abhorrent the human rights situation is, and the fact that so many people died, and this is a bloodbath. You know, this is Blood Bowl, fucking, what do you want to call it? Fucking Death Footy 2000, fucking Thunderdome. Do you know what I mean? To 100,000 enter, only half of them leave. Is that England had done terrible things in the past? Britain's done terrible things. Fucking who cares? I'm sorry, but like, yeah, right, I know. You know, 2 bad things can happen concurrently, you know. I know Britain's doing bad things at the moment. Fucking hell. For every tweet that I write about fucking Qatar being an absolute bloodbath, I write about 1,000 slagging off the British government right now, if anyone's fucking noticed. Most of my shows are about the fucking British government. They're not going off on one about some, as you know, until that point kind of unknown desert kingdom that is run in a feudal model in which if you are born there, you're the top of the world, and if you're not and you come over there as migrant labour, you're treated like shit and looked at like shit, and yeah, treated like shit. Anyway, FIFA would never in a million years ever make some sort of decision based on corruption. Never, says Don Donovan. Let's see, Ben Foster wearing the rainbow bracelet in Qatar. I just woke up and it's all going through one ear and straight out the other, says Duke. Sorry about that, mate. Yeah, I was game too hard. At the end of the day, you got to give credit to the lad, says Spinks. End of the day, Telegraph 20, Sunday Telegraph, the Tories now face an electoral meltdown worse than 1997. Yes, good, wonderful. Number 3 said, I received a £900 plus tax rebate today and sent you a shirt. Oh, thank you, Richard. Honestly, mate, you didn't have to do that, but thank you so much. That's amazing. Thank you. Liam says, you still watch LFC, though? No, mate. I'm not a Liverpool fan. I'm a blue nose. I support Everton, but I haven't been to a match in a long time. I think we got bought by the fucking Iranians. Jesus Christ. I don't mean to watch the rubbish ball anyway, but yeah, boycott the World Cup. Yeah, but it's not just the World Cup, Duke. Find out who's sponsoring the World Cup and boycott them too, and write to them. That's the important bit. Write to them and explain that you are boycotting them because 6,500 people died constructing the stadiums for this fucking World Cup. It is, I'm sure Graham Hughes is a blue, not a red. I am, mate, I am. And it is unfortunate that we don't do better. We did when I was a kid, growing up in the 80s. It was great. Everton did really well, but then I guess the whole thing got taken over by money and corruption, and we've never done quite well. We've never done very well with that. That's a job for an inquisitive drone with a drop-down microphone. Sorry, mate, nobody is working for $100 per annum. That's why I said slaves. Because they were slaves. And still are. I mean, there's still loads of people working, doing construction in Qatar, and the living quarters they're living in, they're not allowed to move to another job without the permission of their superiors, or whoever gave them the job. They're not allowed to go to certain areas of the city. In fact, they're not allowed to go to most of the city. In fact, they're not allowed to go to nearly every part of the city except for the small little slum that the Qatari government has built for them. Because they're family areas, you see. They're family areas, and these men who are working on these stadiums and other infrastructure projects, they're not allowed to go into the family areas. You can if you're white. Genuinely, you can if you're white. But if you're from India, Bangladesh, Nepal, Sri Lanka, Pakistan, Sudan, Egypt, Philippines, nah, mate, you are going to be stuck in your little fucking slum, and we're not even going to pay you. And if you try and escape, we're going to arrest you and put you in jail. And that's what the Qataris do. Nice. Thank you, Qatar. I'm just drawing attention to these facts, okay? And, yeah. I don't know. I don't know what more I can do except go, this is an absolute fucking disgrace. It's an absolute disgrace. And it's why I'm not watching it. It's why I'm not watching it. Liam, what the fuck are you on about? This is so inaccurate. You correct your intention. What? Sorry, Liam. What? Liam's saying that I'm being inaccurate. You're the one who thought I was a fucking Liverpool fan. Jesus Christ. The pyramids were built by a large amount of stonemasons, blacksmiths, plasterers, carpenters, etc. The amount of slaves working on the pyramids was few, says Duke Vengeance. Well, from what we know. But I don't know how many people died making them. But, like, so what? If you go, oh my God, this person's just been murdered, and someone says, yeah, but think about it. 6 million people were murdered in the Holocaust. You go, well, that was bad also, but can we just address this problem we've got right in front of us today that we can actually do something about? I can't do anything about the Holocaust. Well, maybe I could help prevent another one by calling a Nazi and punching them in the face at the first opportunity. Yeah, I mean, I'm up for that, but generally speaking, more than one bad thing can happen at the same time. And over the span of human history, I'm sure a lot of bad things have happened. And it's our job to call them out whenever they fucking happen. And not shy away from the fact that they happened in the past. And yes, if that means sending the things that we stole from other countries back to those countries, yes, fucking do it. If it means paying reparations to countries that we raped of their natural resources for 200 years, yeah, I say fucking pay it. We can fucking afford it. We can afford Brexit. We can afford fucking anything. Jesus Christ. Number 3, thank you very much. Extra £2. I sent some money to you earlier, Graham. Thank you very much, Richard. You are an absolute legend. An absolute legend. I'm a blue but not bitter. You should be on TV, Graham. Perhaps I can become an agent. I swear too much to be on TV, my friend. I swear too much. I wanted to follow you for a good 10 minutes there. Okay, Liam. Steady on, mate. You in a coat, I still wearing shorts. I don't know where you are, QA Library, but I'm very jealous. Phil Spicer. The other hideous thing about the WC Stadia are pretty much all single use. Most of them are never going to be used again. All those deaths from a month's football. Yeah, Phil, you're absolutely spot on, mate. That is the maddest thing. They're going to just be dismantled or left as white elephants in the desert. There's only one city in Qatar. I mean, Qatar's like this fucking, it's tiny. It's like a quarter the size of Wales or something. It's fucking tiny. And the population that lives there, I think it's about 3 million, but most of that is immigrants, is people coming over to work in migrant labour. And the conditions are not good, unless you're white. when you're in charge of something, the conditions are pretty fucking awful. Salah is Egyptian, not Saudi. What? Oh, sorry, you're not talking to me. I'm just fuming. Well, so am I, mate. So am I, because Qatar got given this World Cup, and I said it was going to be a fucking clusterfuck, and I was wrong. Because I just thought it was going to be a clusterfuck. It was actually even fucking worse than in my possible fucking worst dreams. Because, I'm talking about the amount of CO2 they're pumping into the atmosphere, which is well over 10 million tons of CO2 just in the course of the actual fucking, the event. That's not taking into account the amount of fucking CO2 that's been pumped into the atmosphere by making these fucking stadiums in the middle of a fucking desert. This is just, for the air conditioning while people are there. It's not just that. It's not just the corruption. It's not just that you can't get beer and you can't wear your gay pride armband. No. It's the fact that 6,500 people died building those stadiums. And I can't get past that. That just absolutely smacks my gob. That anyone can see that statistic and know that happened and still go, yeah, but, I love footy, so I have to. The perfect drug. Who would have guessed that money corrupts, says Duke Vengeance. I don't know, mate. You could send me some. We could try a little experiment where you could send me some money and see if it corrupts me. The people that care about you. Good evening from the region of England, formerly known as Scotland. Says these people don't care about you. Yes, indeed. Scotland was told on Tuesday, was it Tuesday or was it yesterday? That basically they can't leave the United Kingdom without the permission of London. More specifically, without the permission of the Tory party. Imagine if the EU told Britain that it couldn't leave the EU. Have a think about that for a minute. Jesus Christ. Kate has put £1.79 towards the fucking swear box. Thank you very much, Kate. You are a wonderful, wonderful person. Sauce for Winge again, just a defeatist mindset, La, says Liam. I'm not defeatist. I'm saying there are things you can do. Because one of the things people go is, what can I do? I'm just a little cog in a huge machine. Yes, but if a cog in a machine stops fucking working, it can stop the entire machine from working. That's the point of cogs. Every one of them is absolutely, integral to the machine. So, cause some trouble. Write to the sponsors. Write to Coca-Cola. I'm just keep saying Coca-Cola. I haven't watched any of it, so I don't even know if Coca-Cola are sponsoring this. I just assume they are because they always sponsor these events, which is kind of ironic, really, because Coca-Cola is responsible for more obesity, arguably, than any other product in the world, and yet they sponsor the football, which is athletic. I don't know. Seb Blatter was still in charge when Qatar was awarded the World Cup along with Russia. He was a trustworthy man with an honourable organisation with no moral ambiguity. I'm sorry, mate. I can't say that with a straight face. I cannot say that with a straight face. Jesus Christ. So indeed, yeah. So look, I'm going to cut off now because I just wanted to have a bit of a rant. I was talking to Catherine about it yesterday. And she was like, oh, Graham, we're going to have to change the subject. You're just getting too animated about this. And I'm like, yeah. It's disgraceful. It's just absolutely disgraceful. And I'm sick of these human beings doing absolutely horrific stuff that if you read about a tyrant doing it 2,000 years ago, you'll be like, fucking hell. They killed 6,500 people building the Colosseum. Fuck, that's a bit shit. What a horrible, horrible emperor that Marcus Aurelius must have... Oh, not Marcus Aurelius, Commodius. What a horrible emperor that Commodius must have been. And you think, well, actually, that's happening today. And we have the opportunity to do something about it. First of all, kick up a stink. Say to your mates, you can watch that. Don't watch the fucking footy. Oh, but I like the footy. Yeah, but so many people died. You're basically giving them a free ride. The monsters who made this happen. Because it's not like FIFA didn't know what was going on. They commissioned this World Cup. They knew about the labour practices in Qatar. They knew that Qatar was a desert. They knew that Qatar didn't have any stadiums and would have to build stadiums for this World Cup at the cost of the future of the entire fucking planet. Because of the amount of CO2 that you pump out in construction is off the fucking charts. It's just an insane amount of CO2. You think fucking cow farming's bad? Look at construction. And they built eight stadiums, 7 stadiums, and they've refurbished one. Basically rebuilt it. In the desert. And the air conditioning. I mean, fuck off. Just fuck off, Qatar. Fuck off, FIFA. And yeah. Obligatory rant appreciation post from Burnley Wallet. Thank you very much, Burnley Wallet. I'm glad someone out there appreciates my ranting. But yeah, there is something you can do. Boycott it. And boycott the sponsors. Say you're not standing for this. It was bad enough when it was in Russia a couple of years ago. 4 years ago. And that basically empowered Putin, who had already got the Winter Olympics in Sochi. And then he got the fucking World Cup. And that was after, I know he got it before, but the actual event was after he invaded Crimea and stole a huge section of someone else's country. Someone else's country. Don't give me the shit about, but it used to be part of Russia. Yeah, so did Alaska, mate. I'm pretty sure that if he rolled his fucking tanks into Alaska, the Americans wouldn't just go, oh yeah, well, it was Russia at one point. So, just because it's been ours for a few years, you can have it. Yeah, right. These people don't care about you has just dropped £20 in the fund. Thank you very much. In the super chat. Thank you very much. These people don't care about you. You obviously care about me, and I thank you for that. And obviously I care about you. Have a pint or two, but don't watch the Immoral World Cup. I will not be watching the Immoral World Cup because that's exactly what it is. Thank you so much for the super chats. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you to my patrons and my YouTube members. I'm still working on my secret project that I've been alluding to for quite a while. Hopefully that's going to launch in the new year, but up till then I'm going to be working on videos and getting some content together for it. When it does launch, all of you who are my patrons at the moment will be given free access to the new Discord server that's going to be set up. You might not want to use it. I don't know. We'll see. But if you do, then you will be most welcome to be some of the foundation members of this. So I'll give you a little bit more information about this in due course. I don't want to give too much away, and also I don't want to promise too much. I don't want to say, hey guys, I'm definitely doing a show next week, and then not fucking do it like I did last week. Yeah, sorry about that. But I will be back on Monday, for another roundup of, I don't know, Ranty McRantface. So maybe we should change the name of the show to Ranty McRantface. What do you think? Go and watch Graham have a fucking rant. Yeah, Chatty Rat says, it's always been Westminster's way. Ireland wanted home rule. Westminster said no. The IOL voted for Indy. A 10% in Parliament, and Westminster declared it an illegal assembly. Yeah. Westminster rules. And whoever rules Westminster gets to tell all the home nations what to do. And they go, but we should give the English people a chance to vote in the referendum of whether Scotland can leave or not. But you're going to give all the people in Europe a vote on us leaving the EU, were you? Where you fuck. Anyway, so, yeah, WW World Cup, indeed. Duke Vengeance. So anyway, thanks for watching. I'll be back on Monday. And until next time, thank you very much for the super chats. Really appreciate it. Until next time, I'll say hello, good evening, welcome, and goodbye.